Like, let's start from this, if that's completely fine with you. Like,
Absolutely.
what is ESG?
ESG, so you explained the three words, right? The three alphabets, right? So the environment bit of it, a lot of the action that is currently happening is around creating a regulatory mechanism which allows us to at least be able to gauge what our environmental impact is.
Yeah.
So a company which is doing cement production, for example, will have it's an extractive industry, right? It takes something out, it mixes something up, and then it creates something for you to build with, right? Whereas if you think about an FMCG company, it has a large dependency on water, for example, right? The extraction of water. If you don't stabilize water supply in the future, today there is data enough to support that particular company will feel the impact of having lesser water, lesser quality of water, and as a consequence, its bottom line is going to get affected. So today, over time, today there is sufficient data which supports the idea of the risks that businesses will face medium and long term if they don't assume a certain level of efficiency and sensitivity towards the environment. And this will be more in some industries, it will be less in other industries. And it's the same, by the way, it's the same debate with the fossil fuel industry, right?
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment. So if the fossil fuel industry does not begin to start investing in their net zero journey, which is the big debate today, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think Nepal's target is 2050 for net zero.
Yeah.
PwC's target is 2030. And so if you look at us as a company, most of our carbon is because of travel, right? How do you reduce that? So we've become part of the carbon markets, for example. So we mitigate some of our flying by investing in credits, which then invest in communities that are actually changing and transitioning into a non-fossil fuel-based idea.
Give me an example.
The problem with that is, if I'm telling a small farmer that, look, you live on the border of Chitwan National Park, and you're extracting wood because you need to burn your chula, right? If I don't give them an option, another viable option, they will keep extracting. What will happen? My wood becomes lesser. My forests begin to deplete, right? And my biodiversity, therefore, gets affected. And therefore, carbon sequestration and all of those things get adversely impacted. So today you have a design, for example, for a smokeless Tula. It has two benefits to it. One is it uses lesser wood. So where you were using maybe 100 logs of wood, this allows you to use maybe 40. So as a consequence, you've already reduced it. That's one level. And the second is it also impacts the health of the family because typically it is the women who are the ones responsible for nutrition within rural households. But the amount of smoke that goes into their system causes for health hazards to happen over a period of time, which then become generational. What does that do? It creates more impact on your health system. And so if I have more women getting more ill over a period of time, the pressure on an already pressurized healthcare system will become that much more. So they're all interconnected. Right?
Exactly.
And so sometimes when we create solutions, and pardon me for saying this, but when we create solutions, we're doing surface level solutions which are not looking at the interconnectedness and the interdependencies between issues. So huge debate around the SDGs, right? It's been around for a while now. But when people look at the SDGs, you can't look at the 17 SDGs in isolation because they're all connected to each other.
It's like a web.
Correct. So if I'm looking at education, to use the example that I did earlier, I can't look at education, especially in the rural context, without looking at livelihood, right? And if 70% of my country is supported livelihood-wise by farming, if I don't affect farming to become more efficient, the entire chain gets impacted as a consequence, right? So these interdependencies and interconnectedness is where I think we have fallen a little behind in terms of the actions that need to be taken post-policy. We have good policy in most parts of the world. It's just that the implementation of that policy historically has always been considered to be the responsibility of government and civil society.
Thank you very much for watching us on YouTube. Make sure that you also listen to us on Spotify.